Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another day of the video. Darren, how's it going today? Today it is Friday, and it's another free day. It's always a free day for me now. It's great. It's Friday, and today we are working at home. I'm going to be working on more. Oh, the water's gone cold. To wait until after lunch now. Today I am working on a more technical side of things. Yesterday I had a nice, great big clear out and sorted a load of stuff out. Today I am going to be working on the computer, sorting stuff out. So far today though, ladies and gentlemen, I've woken up, obviously, got undressed, obviously, got ready, had breakfast and all that kind of good stuff, and I've just been sorting out yesterday's daily vlog, got that uploaded. I need to get into the habit of uploading it at night, because when I start working full time it's going to be difficult to hit my normal upload time, but we'll see about that. But yeah, I'm literally just about to get into sorting out my stuff for Azure, trying to figure out how it works. And like, I realised just how much of a, like normally, previously when I've tried to host websites, I've either hosted them myself or I've set up like a self-hosted thing online for pretty cheap. This Azure, if you don't know, is quite expensive. It's quite expensive, but I've got a lot of like student credits and stuff to use. But Azure is going to be the thing. I need something a lot more powerful than standard web hosting when I move my project online and when I start hosting it online and testing it online and all that kind of good stuff. I need something scalable. I need a scalable cloud infrastructure essentially, and that's what Azure offers. I set up Azure to host like literally a bog standard website to get practice of all that kind of stuff as I migrate this into that world. And like I say, I've got a lot of credit, and while it's not being used it doesn't cost me much, but when I do use it, it costs me, if you know what I mean. So there's no big deal there. But like Azure is a business stuff. Right, I got a phone call from Microsoft earlier. I missed it. I got an answer phone message from Oscar at Microsoft, who says like, if you've got any problems with your stuff, give us a call. I'm like, fucking hell, I've never had that before. So it's because companies use Azure. It's a bit like Amazon's service, but like Azure's targeted at companies, not people like me. Well, I don't have a company yet, but one day. So yeah, I'm literally getting into that now. I think I messed everything up a little bit the first time I did it, so I'm going to try and like scrape everything aside. I kind of partially investigated stuff yesterday, think I fucked it up. I'm going to scrape it aside, try again. I'm literally just guessing. So what's annoying about Visual Studio? You have to do updates one by fucking one, and each time, most of the time, you have to close Visual Studio. It's so irritating. Yeah, well, ladies and gentlemen, I've been wrestling with this, trying to wrap my head around. The thing is, I know how to do this, but I know how to do it when I've got a dedicated build server. I don't have a dedicated build server. I've got a hosted build server in the cloud that only appears when I build. So trying to figure out how to pull information from that to then deploy it onto the website is an absolute nightmare. I've decided I haven't even fixed it, to be honest. I have two things. I have a continuous build. Which goes through and like every time I commit and check in, it will do a build and test all the tests and all that kind of stuff. And then I have a build and deploy, which is manual, in which case it does a build and deploys it during that build rather than after it. Basically because I'm a pleb and I can't figure out how to do it without having a dedicated build server, so God fucking damn it. But I've got it now. It's after lunch. Lunch started like half an hour ago, but I'm just going to tidy all this up, and then, in theory, I can start building my website again. Way. Also, it's got to be said, I was trying to use Microsoft Edge, because I thought, you know what, it'll work, won't it? Because I'm using all Microsoft's websites. It's trash! To the point when you just go onto here and press like Control A. Control A doesn't work on Edge for some reason. God. All sorted. I'm going to go have my lunch break and then I'm going to come back, build this website. Well, do some final configuration things. Build the website. Convert the Surface Pro so Laura can use it easier without me getting adverts. Like a proper 4-monitor setup. Crumbs alive. Right, lunch. It's 1:30. I'm not even hungry. I'm working, man. I'm working. I'm getting pretty stressed as well, it's got to be said. So much easier if you just have a dedicated... I could, in theory, have a dedicated build server in a zero cloud. If I wanted to. That would work. I could just buy one. And then use that. Don't be ridiculous. Maybe one day we'll have a dedicated build server. But until that day, we'll stick with a free hosted one. Christ. It's just going to be one of them things where... or I could relegate, when I upgrade computers, I can relegate Atlas to become a build server. She could become my own in-house build server. That'd be good. Except it means if I'm away from here, I won't be able to do work. Well, no, because, well, the IP address would move, wouldn't it? That's true. Maybe. I mean, like, I'm aware that half of this is going to be expensive, but, or it could potentially be expensive, but I'm willing to pay the price for it to be expensive. Rather than cut corners and do it on the cheap, like, i.e. try and host it on a Raspberry Pi or some bollocks like that. But I want it to be, I want to have experience with all of this really big stuff, because at some point I'm going to need all this really big stuff. Right, let's put the Nexus on, let's watch some Netflix while we have lunch, and then we'll get back down to work. Lunchtime is over, it's time to get back to some work, but I've got some to-do list things to tick off. I've got to do a towel wash. So we'll bung that on now. We've got to figure out how much you can put in. I'm never really good at gauging how much you should put in a tumble dryer, washing machine, you know. And it like, it's going to be a bad thing when I actually own one, because like up until this flat, all of the washing machines I've used or owned or whatever have all been like owned by the flat or the university and things like that. Like this is technically owned by the landlord, but you can't just casually break them all the time, can you? So that's 2 really big towels. I don't think you can get any more in there, to be honest with you. I feel like you're pushing it already. I'm generally not very good at this. Maybe. Noticed that like all of our, very quickly, like in the past week or so, all of our view has just been obscured by trees. Like it's just trees. Look at this here, look, it's just more trees. You can't see anything except trees. Out this window, guess what's out here? You guessed it. Trees, boys. I have everything set up now, it's all rocking and rolling. I'm just going through the process of building my stuff. It's kind of weird because the things I'm using, I'm deliberately trying to use things that are really like advanced in order to get... I've never noticed these like scratches before. Wait, words. So, like I said, I'm trying to use these things that are like quite complicated. They're quite over the top, unnecessary for what I'm trying to do. Because they're designed for things of like such larger scale. Like proper fully fledged sites with all of this crazy stuff. There's a guy going along the path with a scooter. Not as cool as a longboard though, is it? I just went. Yes, I'm trying to use all of these things. I'm trying to figure out a way of modelling these things that are supposed to store much more complicated information on to a simple private website up until the point where I can put my blog on it. So it's really, I'm like, is this overkill? It feels like overkill. But either way, that's what I'm doing though, so it's good fun. Thinking about what to put on things. I know how to build it, I just don't know what to build. This is my problem, whenever I get into building websites. Well, saying that, I know I know how to build it, I don't know what to populate it with or how to make that look pretty. There's my problems. So, how to go about that in a nice, programmable, well-designed manner. Because it's so simple, so it naturally doesn't fit something this complicated. Okay, I have ideas. Otherwise, though, I'm going to go meet Laura. We've got an errand to run, and I'm pretty sick of being inside as well, to be fair as well. So I'm going to head on outside, I can take my longboard with me, and go and meet her. Go meet her around somewhere. put some shoes on. Like in this video, I just kind of walk around and just kind of say things and like, what about this? What about this? Anyway, time jump. It's bedtime. Picked up Laura, I'd longboarded up there, and then walked back with Law. Came back here, cooked beef stroganoff. We were following a recipe. I cleaned this. Followed a recipe on like salted food. We've made it before and it was really bland. So this time we kind of like googled other recipes and figured out what other people put in beef stroganoff. And people put mustard in it, paprika in it. So we put all of it in, basically. Did like double the stock for what we needed. And it tasted really nice. We did well. Instead of, it was really bland. It was genuinely really bland the first time, but it was really tasty this time. We then sat, watched some TV, had the rest of our chocolate cake, got Graham out for a while, and then promptly 10:15, Laura falls asleep. So I was looking into doing more web stuff. So yeah, I mean, like I say, I'm just trying to do. It's something that I put my hands up and say I'm not very good at web. I'm not very good at web stuff at all. I know how to program. What I basically got to do is try not to let this get in the way of stuff, but I've also kind of got to learn it at the same time, so it's interesting stuff. But yes, it's because I have a hatred against things like Bootstrap. That's my problem. Generally, I don't know why. When I look at a website and I see it's got Bootstrap, I'm like, if you're going to use Bootstrap, it has to be really like hidden. Hide it from me, I don't want to see. It also makes it more complicated for myself. Like, I generally don't even know how to use Bootstrap, never used it. I'm a back-end developer, not front-end. But like I say, that's what I'm basically doing at the moment, is I'm fighting with this front-end thing, and then I can move on to pushing some data through from the back-end, which is what I'm better at. And then doing it in a way that's testable as well, instead of hard-coding it into the HTML, which I did before in PHP. Fuck PHP. But I've got to get my head around like views and all that kind of stuff in ASP.NET. Like, my only experience with this, with ASP.NET and building a website, was at work when we first got there and we didn't know how to do it, and it was horrendous. It was the worst website you've ever seen in your life. Well, no, it was functional, did everything. It did all of its processing in the header when the page loaded instead of on the server. It was a mess. So basically, the only thing I know is because we did that before we knew how to do anything. So the only thing I've practiced before was wrong. So it's difficult to like fight against that, and that's what I'm trying to do, basically. But I'm having fun. Go to bed then. Tomorrow, go to Bath, go to town, try and make an interesting vlog out of it. We've got a double date now with Beth and Ben. Well, hey, it's going to be great. I'll catch you later.